So as a reporter, I have the luxury of covering a lot of town governments. I see how a lot of them operate, and I got to be honest, I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like Yorktown Town Board meetings.
We like to be special.
So, I mean, especially recently, some of them even go to 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
What is it about Yorktown? I say that lovingly because I lived here for 25 years. What do you think? Would you like to change anything about the way the town board operates right now, or the meetings, the way they go?
I would like to see the business of the town take place first, and hold the courtesy to the floor until the end of the meeting, and then any type of statements that anybody has to make, be it on town board or from the public, can wait till the end of the meeting. I think that would be one step. The other step is let's get a 5-member board, and I think we'd have a lot more things getting done in a more quickly. I think that is part of it. There's been a lot of headbutting and political posturing, and I think that with the mix on the board, that will stop, and it will move the meetings ahead in a pace that the meetings will end more quickly. Like you say, 3 o'clock in the morning. That was quite the meeting. I didn't stay quite that long, but it was interesting. But yeah, I think we move. There's been talk about having 2 courtesies of the floor. That just becomes grandstanding, etc. We have 1 courtesy of the floor. Have it at the end, and who wants to stay stays. Who doesn't want to stay doesn't stay, and you can watch it on TV the next day. Thank you.
I have no problem listening to the residents, and I would have a courtesy of the floor at the beginning of the meeting and at the end of the meeting. I think we just need to structure it a little bit better than it is. Set a time limit. We've all talked about a 3-minute time limit. And also to not have interaction with the residents or the speaker. If it's a legitimate complaint, someone wants to come and send it to the town board, then we can either say, go to the supervisor's office tomorrow, call the supervisor's office, I'll call you, I'll come to your house. There's numerous ways we can address issues, legitimate issues that residents have, whether it be a drainage issue at their house or a neighborhood dispute. So I think that I have no problem listening to the public as long as it doesn't take a majority of the meeting, and we can get to a point where we do not have the animus toward each other. And it's kind of interesting, the situation where the town is kind of divided. On a national level, you have, you're divided, but in a small town like this, we shouldn't be as divided as we are. And it's not that complicated to try to get some of these personalities back around to where we can work together. Yorktown Smart Growth is supporting both of the Democratic candidates, and some of them have said to me that they're sorry that Roseanne and I are running against each other, because I think they think that I would be an asset to the board, but they are supporting my opponent. So if elected, I'm not going to say to Yorktown Smart Growth, having animus toward them, or that you're not welcome at the table, or I won't listen to you if you have something to say. And I said that we have to get past that type of thinking that we're against each other, and that as Bob said, once you get elected, you're working for the people of the town. And I think we need to get to that point, and then town business will progress in an orderly fashion.
Yeah, I think the courtesy of the floor has to be first. I think if the residents come at 7:30 and they're going to speak, or they have something to talk about, that they should be given their 3 minutes, because town board business could go on for a few hours. It's great to have the second courtesy of the floor for those people who have to come at the end of a meeting, or for the folks who stay for the whole meeting and have something to say afterwards. But it definitely needs to go first, because you have people who get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to get to work, so they want to come in and say their piece and leave. I think there is a lot of animosity towards people, towards the members on the board. I think that there is a lot of grandstanding. If I've heard Supervisor Grace speak half an hour regarding the sober home once, I've heard him do it maybe 4 times. So there's, we all have things that we, are passionate about, but I think as board members, we'll have to sit down and say, there's a point in which which there's gonna be no progress or nothing gained from me going on for a half an hour about one topic. I think that's all on an individual basis.
So, I think there could be big improvements made to how the town board is managed. It can certainly be made more efficient, it could be better organized. I think what happens, and it's under Michael to some extent, where he may have good intentions and he has a lot of good ideas, but when time and again some of the board members don't seem to feel they have the information they need to have a discussion, to make a decision, that puts a bad flavor in their mouths, that makes them suspicious, and so then that's where the hacking at each other, the machetes come out. You gotta have a feel of trust that everything you need to know is here, and I'm not pulling the wool over your eyes, and we're in this together. The one guy I'd use as an example, he was often before the planning board, David Steinmetz, and he's very, very articulate, he's very organized, and what he does is he comes in and he would come in and say, here's where we were last time, this is what occurred, this is what you asked me to come back for, and here I am. 1, 2, 3. Nobody disagrees with him. You know why? Because he's right on the money. We ought to run our town board sessions the same exact way. I'm not even talking about, I like the idea of I'm not talking about courtesy of the floor, that belongs there. If somebody wants to come up and make a complaint, that's fine. But when you're doing the town's business, you got a public hearing on this or that, everyone ought to be on the same page. And the supervisor and the board members should be controlling that meeting. And not, it shouldn't be a wild shootout. And that's what I think some of us see, and I think that's what our residents see, and if I were there, I would certainly manage the meetings a lot better than they are being managed now.